Hey Kipsters, today we're going to move on to our next body system. It's called the circulatory system. As you may have guessed from the picture, the circulatory system involves the heart, the blood, the veins, and the arteries. Our objective for today is that you will be able to explain the function of the circulatory system and the 3 types of blood vessels. In order to get started, I want to show you a quick video.
Of course I have a pulse. Try again. Dear Tim and Moby, how does blood move through your body? From Josh. Blood circulates through your body in a network of blood vessels. This network is miles and miles long. Your heart, blood, and blood vessels make up your cardiovascular system, also known as your circulatory system. The cardiovascular system is responsible for a cycle that moves blood from the heart to every part of your body and back again. At the center of your cardiovascular system is your heart. The heart is a muscle that pumps blood through your body, and it handles 3 types of circulation. Your heart has its very own network of blood vessels that brings nutrients in and removes waste. This is called coronary circulation, the flow of blood within the heart itself. Pulmonary circulation is the flow of blood through the heart to the lungs. In the lungs, blood drops off carbon dioxide for you to breathe out. Then it picks up the oxygen that comes into the lungs when you breathe in. That oxygen-rich blood heads back to your heart, which brings us to systemic circulation. Systemic circulation brings oxygen to all the cells that need it and removes their waste products. Blood cycles through your body by moving from your heart to your arteries. It goes into smaller blood vessels called capillaries, and then into veins and back to your heart. Blood leaves your heart through a big artery called the aorta. Blood drops off its cargo of nutrients and oxygen, providing your cells with the fuels they need to do their jobs. Then it picks up carbon dioxide and other waste products, taking them away for disposal. Solid waste is dropped off at the kidneys, and carbon dioxide is exchanged in the lungs for a fresh supply of oxygen. And then it's back around again, all day, all night, including weekends and holidays, for the rest of your life. Do we have to do this now? Huh? You're alive. You're alive. Dad. Dad, Moby's alive. He's not a robot after all.
So let's go ahead and take a look back at our PowerPoint. As you can see, when we think about how things get around, when we're thinking about how things get around in a car, it usually gets around from some type of tubing that sends oil to and from the engine so that your car can move around. Now, same thing happens with water. So underneath the surface of the earth, we have lots of water systems that help water get to the school, to and from your house, back into the ocean or the water source. And finally, roads, cars, trucks, planes, trains, automobiles, those help things get around too. But in our body, the blood is what helps to move nutrients throughout our body. So in order for things to get around our body, we rely on the circulatory system. Its job is to move nutrients around the body. This brings us to our first point, is the function of the circulatory system. You'll see in your notes there's a place to write this down. It says function. The function of the circulatory system is to transport nutrients, blood cells, gases, and other chemicals to the body. Go ahead and write that on the line now. So the structure of the circulatory system. The circulatory system is made up of 3 structures. First, most important, is the heart. Second, the heart is the muscle that pumps blood throughout the body. Next, these are red blood cells. So the circulatory system is also made up of blood. The blood is what actually transports the oxygen around our body. And then finally, we have to have something that allows it to flow from one place to another. And the blood in our body flows through things called blood vessels. This includes veins, arteries, and capillaries. We're going to talk more about what the blood vessels are. The word vessel means something that's used to transport. So, for example, this bus is a vessel, or this beautiful shiny car is also a vessel. If I used it in a sentence, I could say that buses are the vessel that are used to get Kipsters from school to home. So vessel is something that transports. There are 3 types of blood vessels in your body. There's veins, arteries, and capillaries. Each one of these vessels has a slightly different job in transporting nutrients and oxygen around your body. Let's look at the first one, veins. Veins are often the blue-colored vessel that you see. If you turn to the underside of your hand, right below your palm, you can probably see your vein. Veins are a thin-walled vessel, and it takes deoxygenated blood from the body back to the heart. When I say deoxygenated, I mean it takes all the blood that has been used up its oxygen so that it goes back into the heart and to the lungs to be refilled with oxygen again. So you can see in this diagram, this part that's going into the heart, this is the vein, because the blood that's contained in here needs oxygen again. So it has to return back to the heart in order to get oxygen. Go ahead and write this down into your notes now. The second type of blood vessel is called the artery. Now, the artery is a very thick-walled vessel. It takes blood that's very rich in oxygen from the heart out to the rest of the body. So, if you remember, this one is the vein. It takes blood that needs oxygen and it brings it into the heart. This one is the artery. It takes blood that has been filled up with oxygen and is ready to be moved to the rest of the body. This is called the artery. So remember, the vein takes oxygen-poor blood to the heart, and artery takes oxygen-rich blood from the heart. So vein goes to the heart, and the artery takes blood from the heart. That's the big difference between the two of them. Finally, there's one more type of blood vessel, and it's called the capillaries. The job of the capillaries is to exchange nutrients, waste, and gases with cells. Now, capillaries are very small. You'll see that the arteries are pretty thick-walled, but they're larger. The veins are slightly smaller, thin-walled, but still, they're bigger than the capillaries. This area here are the capillaries. It's a network of very, very thin, layered vessels that allow oxygen to be exchanged. So it takes oxygen from the lungs and back into the bloodstream. It also releases carbon dioxide out so that we can breathe it out through our lungs. The main job of the capillaries is to exchange gases. Make sure you have that written down into your notes now. Let's test yourself. Which of the 3 blood vessels is responsible for exchanging oxygen? If you said capillaries, you're absolutely correct. Remember, the job of the capillaries is to exchange oxygen into the bloodstream. Next one. Oops, I gave you the answer here. Sorry, hipsters. Which blood vessel brings oxygen-poor blood to the heart? Remember, the one that goes to the heart is the veins. Veins go to. You can see they're always blue-colored here because deoxygenated blood shows up as blue. And finally, which blood vessel takes oxygen-rich blood to the body? So, away from the heart. If you guess arteries, you're absolutely correct. So, arteries are the ones that take blood away from the heart because it's full of oxygen in order to be used by the body. You guys are going to go ahead and proceed now into your practice. If you have questions, let me know. Good luck.